you're not gonna play the game the right way.
Then we don't have to play it all. I agree.
I do feel like it will have some kind of effect on our marriage, and right now I'm just trying to figure out what that effect will be.
It's done.
Cool, so you can shut the heck up.
You said you call, you didn't. You give your all, where is it?
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is. You ain't got the minerals, baby. Are you mad? Are you mad? Are you late? Yeah. Boom! Are you mad? Are you mad? Are you late? Again. Make sure if you're new to the channel, you like, share, subscribe. For those who are returnees, you already know what time it is, baby. Alright, listen, let's get into the video. We're talking about Married at First Sight. Boom!
Honestly, it's been kind of surreal, and especially how we're just getting along so well.
Okay, so tell me, how have things been? What's happening?
There's a lot that's happened. Greg and I are getting along, having good conversations, meeting friends, family.
Do you know what the first thing I want to say is, Dylan and Greg, I think they are the perfect couple. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really love them. I think I say perfect couple, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I think they're the great couple, and I think they are got a great energy, and I love the fact that they have this good energy where it's simple, yeah, and they complement each other. Now there are obviously issues they need to work out, but one thing I want to say is obviously at the beginning when Pastor Cal and I always forget the woman's name decided to ask them how they feel about the process so far, both of them gave very positive outlooks on how they feel. Not only that, it was evident because I was looking at the eyes. The eyes don't tell lies, baby. The eyes don't tell lies. I was looking at the eyes, and especially of Diona as well, when she said, obviously, no, it's going good, and I saw the positive vibe come out of her. So I know from her point of view, definitely, she's happy where she is. And I'll tell you why she's happy where she is. Being in a relationship where you've been hurt, broken, you've been bruised, yeah, been traumatized, yeah, by the other party's behaviors towards you and towards the relationship you have and the respect towards you, hurts an individual to a point where they question their self-value, they question whether they are good enough, they question whether they want to be in a relationship ever again. Men are all trash sometimes, and I understand the thought process, don't get twisted, I'm not even cussing. So when you've been in a place like that, a dark place here, and you meet somebody who comes with light, it is not always easy to be able to behave as light yourself when you feel like you are darkness. Because you've been bruised, broken, hurt, battered so much that you can't even recognize what's good. And, well, I wouldn't say you can't. Let me not tell that. Let's go back. Not that you can't recognize it's not good. You can recognize it's good. But you yourself don't feel that you're worthy of that goodness because you've been battered so much. That's what trauma does to you. That's what poor behavior of the opposite sex can do to you. And that's why it's so important. My channel, I love talking about the behaviors of men and women towards each other and the detriment of it, and how it can improve and how it can help each other. Because this whole thing that we're doing on Married at First Sight, it's all about building up each other. We're learning from Married at First Sight couples and saying what we should and what we shouldn't do. So I'm loving the fact them two are making it work, and I'm seeing that Diona is warming to Greg. She's not there yet, but she's warming to Greg, and she knows she's got a good man. Just by listening to the way she talks, she knows she's got a good man. She's just trying to put herself on that same platform. Unfortunately, when you don't meet somebody at the same platform that they're at, what can happen is insecurity. And insecurity can make you overcompensate or undercompensate. And sometimes when you undercompensate, that's when depression and you don't feel like you're good enough, etc. When you overcompensate, cheating comes in. That's when the people start doing cheating because they want to try and make sure it's a level playing field. They don't know that they're on a level playing field. Do you know what I'm saying?
You don't like opening up. And so it's that kind of struggle that I'm dealing with where I would love for you to open up, I would love for you to tell me more so I can understand you and grow with you. I don't try to force it because I don't want to seem like when I'm asking too many questions, I don't want to feel like I'm needy.
Greg mentioned something. I think just because the way the relationship has gone about, I think like him, trying to get her to open up and be more emotional, also creates a double back effect in the sense of the fact he's a male, number one, so pride is working and ego's working. And number two as well, men often are coined as not talking about their emotions. which then parts to part 3, which is then it creates its own particular pressure towards situations when you want to express how you feel. Now, he expressed to Pastor Cal that, he said something which was like, I don't want to feel like I'm too needy. It's not that he's even too needy, but you look too needy when somebody comes cold. And this is a point in making that some people are not really needy. You are just cold towards that person, or they have too much affection for you. But to someone else, they are perfect. You see why it's important that we have to be very careful with the words that we say? You're too needy for me. But most people don't say that. They say, you're too needy. And now the person thinks you're too needy for everybody. No, you're too needy for me. I like a certain way that you do things. I like my space. Give me a bit of space. That's what I like. Do you see the difference? Words have so much power. In fact, the Bible says that that life and death is in the tongue. All right, and I believe that talks about the fruits, and we shall eat thereof of it. They should eat thereof of it. So whatever you're saying, you're gonna eat those words, bro. They're gonna manifest into something, and you have to eat the fruit of those words. So it's in this particular case, when I saw that he said that, I said, oh, okay, he's feeling some way. The pride is talking and saying, you don't need to, should you be saying that you feel emotional? Should you be saying that you want love? Should you be saying that you want her to tell you that she likes you and she loves you and she wants you? It's perfectly normal. But the pride in every man, or so most man, is that we don't want to ask that question because we don't look like we are needy. We don't look like we actually need something. We don't look like we need you. But we do. It's a relationship. Our relationship is meant to be trusted. We're meant to trust on each other. So I saw that and I said, the pride and the ego is working in him. He doesn't want him to be, as quote unquote someone might say, soft.
My forever, and I'm just right now trying to make sure that I'm being the best version of myself for him, because I don't always articulate my feelings very well. Like, I can say I'm good, I'm fine, I'm okay, but I don't elaborate to let him know exactly like what's going on. But I know that he needs to know more.
Again, I always want to focus on as well creating solutions to our problem. Now, we get made aware with Diona being, I guess, conscious of her own behavior by saying, you know what, I know I am the problem. I know that he needs, words from me, and he needs my warmness, and I'm trying. I'm warming up, but I need more time to get there. Do you get what I'm saying? I need more time to get there. You know what I mean? A get. So, as she's trying to get there, and as she stated, I kept on asking myself, what is it again? How much can we explore what's holding you back, Diona? Do you see what I'm saying? We asked in the last episode, but let's go deeper. You know what I'm saying? And they did later on, and this is why I was saying that they hadn't gone deep enough, because this should have been exposed on the very first times of talking. We are 4 weeks in, and we're only now finding about your ex past. What's going on? And one of the things I remember I've always said as a person is that I need to know your past. Now, some people don't like talking about their past because they may feel ashamed, they may feel embarrassed, they may feel like that's all in the past. It's not. You see, the past has a way of coming into the future. So I always try to look at the past events of an individual, whether you cheated, whether you were a prick, whether you didn't know better, whatever you were at the time. I want to know. Here's what I want to know. I want to know so that in the future, when certain behaviors come, I know where it's come from. What I don't want to do is meet you in the future and I don't know where it's coming from, because I don't know where it's coming from a place of uncertainty and unknownness too, I too may react in a certain way. I may react out of emotion rather than react out of a knowing. And it's what they said. They said that you can't, with James and Elizabeth, they said you can't react in emotion, you must react in the knowing of that person. Yes, the same way the Bible talks, the Bible kind of alludes to the fact that we shouldn't be, don't give way to anger, right? Anger is an emotion. Don't give way to your emotions, but act in the spirit of your emotions. You see, the flesh of your emotions always creates death. But the spirit of your emotion, it still takes into account your emotion. Like, you're angry, yes. But the spirit is now riding it and saying, look, you're angry, but this is how we should deal with it. So it's not eradicating your anger. The spirit of emotion doesn't eradicate your emotion. What it does, it puts it in the right frame of mind of where and how to act it out. You see, there are times where someone really frustrates you, yeah, and you act in a manner towards that person that disarms their ways towards you. You are acting almost in the, if you are a Christian, you are acting in the spirit of that emotion. Though you were may have been frustrated, you may have been angry, you reacted in the spirit of emotion. I'm angry, but this is how I react to you. That's what the Spirit can do. So it's interesting to see that, you know, Deonna and Greg. I want to see them talking about that more, you know. And I think, you know, I think obviously, one thing I know is that Deonna is understanding. And I said to everyone, she knows she's got a good man. She knows where she wants to be with this man, and she knows this is a good man to be with. How do I know that? The very last question I believe it was asked was
For you to say no on decision day.
I don't foresee that happening.
what would make you say no? And she said, nothing. Nothing. Why? Because she knew she was in a good situation. She knew she had a good man that would take care of her, that would love her, that would everything else. But brokenness prevents you from jumping into certain situations because you're scared that the past will reenact itself in the future. I feel like I'm preaching. I don't know what's going on. Holy Spirit, take control. Whew! I feel like I'm preaching. I'm not meaning to preach. You know what I mean? Ooh, I'm just trying to give a video a thing. So the past seems to always affect the future. And so you heard her say in the last episode that, you know, she was fearful she would be rejected for who she is. But who is she? She's made up of the experiences of the past. Do you know what I'm saying? She may choose to do something different than the past, but she is made up of the experiences of the past. So she doesn't want to be rejected for who she is. And so we see them on the couch and they speak about their past. And she mentions about, you know, being hurt in the past. And I can see the clockworks starting to work in Greg. Why? Because speaking, the Bible says, faith cometh by hearing the word of God. But then the Bible says that we walk by faith, not by sight. What does that actually mean? That means that you begin to walk not by what you fully see, but what you know. When the word begins to cause your spirit man inside here begins to now see for you. So what he's saying is this, what I'm trying to allude to is this: the more you speak to your partner, the more they are in the know, the more they're able to react accordingly to you. You see, the know is also knowledge. Knowledge means to be in light of something. When you're in the dark, you lack knowledge. When you're in the light or being enlightened, you have knowledge. Hence why we have the word illuminati. It's to illuminate what was once hidden. So the person's heart was once hidden, or a section of the person's heart was once hidden. But then, as the person shared their truth with you, they began to illuminate what was their heart's pains, aches, sorrows, what their truth was. And now Greg could then do what? What did he do? As soon as she trusted him, because that's also part of faith, as soon as she trusted him with that piece of information, the first thing he did was, come back, let me give you my story and tell you, listen, my mum, my dad, this is what happened with them. And this is where relationships really begin to make sense. This is where you come together to support one another. Do you get me? We need more of this. We need us to be actual vocalists, open to one another, sharing our experiences, but in trusting and in lovingness, being open with people who we can depend upon. Do you get me? So that's why speaking out your past is so important. And in fact, I need to write that down because that's now a message for tonight. I need to do a video on that.
So it was like, well, I'm never going to go through that again.
Yeah, so the pain and the hurt, I definitely understand. My mom and my dad got divorced when I was 4. They met in D.C. She went to Nigeria with him, and she found out my dad had another family. And in some cultures, in African tribes, it's okay. You know, being that my mom is from South Carolina, she don't play that, right? So she, you know, up and left Nigeria and came to the States. And so she never got remarried, never even had a boyfriend. And so, you know, I see the constant hurt that she still has in some ways. But growing up,
Just write that down. Boom. Appreciate that. Love that. Anyway, so that was Deonna and Greg. How long have we been speaking for? Damn, 6 minutes. Alright.
Play the game the right way.
Okay.
That's terrible.
Not kissing your toes. Roll again.
Really?
No. Tell Dr. Pepper. Tell Pastor Cal. Tell Dr. Viviana. I don't care.
Grow up.
Oh, chill out.
Really? I don't feel that we're on the same level as far as maturity is concerned.
If you're not gonna play the game the right way,
Then we don't have to play it all. I agree.
I do feel like it will have some kind of effect on our marriage, and right now I'm just trying to figure out what that effect will be.
It's done.
Cool, so you can shut the heck up.
You said you call, you didn't.
What can I say? I knew it was coming. I knew this was coming. The attitude that I said, that has been there from the beginning jump. When I said to you guys that on the boat, yeah, that she spoke to Keith in a certain way that made him feel like a kid, I said to you that this attitude needs to be vanquished. Yeah, see, the thing that she's talking about virginity is only a part of her pridefulness that she has. It filters into other areas. She talks to him like she almost like she knows better. And that's a problem for Keith. Big boy. He's a very calm guy, but it gets to a certain point, he is gonna blow. And then nothing worse when you see a calm guy finally blow. It's destructive because he's built up so much energy, so much tension, so much rawness, yeah, of being hurt that when he reacts, anybody can get it. You understand? So I was watching it and I was just looking at them roll the dice in the game, sex game or whatever, and I said to myself, I have to ask myself a real question though. Is Iris lacking intimacy because she's scared of being intimate and scared of, sexual intimacy? Or is Iris doing this because there is a greater aspect of things? Maybe she's been sexually assaulted in the past. Maybe she's also, you know, I don't know. Yeah, maybe she's been sexually assaulted in the past. Obviously, if she's claiming virginity, it means that she potentially hasn't been raped, but maybe has been sexually assaulted or something like that. Because that could be a case of why someone lacks sexual intimacy as well. That will also come with other behaviors, which I don't think I've seen in Iris, but I'm just putting it out there because we have to always be open to that as well. Some people, the reason why they're not sexually intimate is because of the fact that they have been deflowered, or they have been raped, or they have been sexually assaulted by the opposite species, and so therefore there's a disconnect in that particular area of their relationship. So you also have to consider that as well. So I'm being very mindful to that. I personally don't think it's that, just because of her other behaviors. But what I do see is there's a rigidness in her wanting to explore sexually with her husband, Keith. Some of you obviously have said as well that, you know what, Keith hasn't really warmed her up, hasn't really, you know, tried to seduce her a little bit. And I was like, you don't just go and seduce a virgin just like that, my friends. Please relax. You don't know. Listen, the whole point is we're not trying to catch a case. Do you understand? We are trying to show love. And in that love, there is a patience, there's an endurance. The Bible says that, you know, love is patient, is kind, is enduring, doesn't count no wrongs. This is biblical, baby. So these things are all included in what love is. Now, part of that love, as I said, is patience. Being patient is one of the things that you're going to need when it comes to somebody maybe is a virgin who, someone like Iris, because she's not willing to be, I guess, freer in those areas at the moment. And so what you have is Keith also being hesitant because he doesn't want also to cause a problem for Iris.
This by.
Are you afraid to take her virginity?
Yes. I want to make sure that I want to be the person who takes her virginity first.
You don't know if you want to be the one who takes her virginity.
Right.
What are you saying?
He doesn't want a problem. He wants to be able to be problem-free. And so engaging in sex, when you haven't really kind of asked, so you haven't really got to that place yet with the person, you're not going to seduce them. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not just going to go out and seduce them. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, that was quite interesting. I think when I saw her actually in that game, and she said something, it was like, so you can finally shout now about it. And I'm like, whoa. I said, hold on a minute, where's it actually come from, Iris? Where's it actually come from? And I'm noting it down now. That, trust me, the guy is marking it down. He's not saying it yet, he's definitely marking it down. Trust me. I'm not saying that he's going to say no at the final day, but he's marking it down. Trust me. We don't forget them things. Especially when in fact you remain quiet and say nothing. You ain't forgotten.
If you're not going to play the game the right way,
then we don't have to play it all. I agree.
I do feel like it will have some kind of effect on our marriage, and right now I'm just trying to figure out what that effect will be.
It's done.
Cool, so you can shut the heck up.
You said you call, you didn't. You give your all, where is it?
During the games, what it was said as well that he said to her, "Listen, loosen up a little bit," and she said, "No, she basically said, that's not happening. And I was like, whoa, where's this energy coming from? Where's the sudden energy of I'm not interested in any sexual behavior coming from? Because if I remember correctly, there was an episode, I believe 2 episodes back, where we were talking about condoms. And if I remember correctly, you said that you'd rather he use those condoms on you. Where's that same energy, baby? Where's that same energy saying that you're a virgin at the risotto? Where's that same energy? I want to see it. Yeah? I want to see that energy. Right now, she's acting like she's super frigid, like she hasn't done anything at all. But we know you've done something. We know you've done something, Iris. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not new to this. I'm not saying that she should go gung-ho into sex, but what I am saying is, you see, sex, this doesn't just start at the fornication. It doesn't just start at the penetration. Sex, really, I mean, it's the energy I'm talking about, not necessarily the act of sex. And I think that's what Keith is missing here. And we'll talk about that in Pascal's section as well. Keith is hesitant on moving anywhere with Iris in terms of sexual boundaries because she doesn't even offer the sexual energy. And you guys know, when you meet someone, yeah, and you got some sexual energy, like, it's just nice. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even had sex yet, but you're already imagining what it would be like because the energy that you guys have, right?
Including Keith. Unfortunately, because you don't really know how to navigate this, you're at times probably hiding behind it. And that uncertainty, I think, is what scares him.
Learning myself sexually is very difficult for me right now because, you know, I'm a 27-year-old still figuring that stuff out. And so for me to have gone through my entire life and, you know, letting sexuality take the back burner, you're like, now it's time for me to explore those things. And now knowing that I'm exploring it, you know, with my husband, someone that I just met, those are all very hard things that I'm having to go through right now.
What would make you say no?
It really depends on...
There's a type of energy that comes with that. Now, that energy, Iris is not presenting, so therefore, there's not even an inkling or potential, an idea that's coming to Keith's head because you're presenting right now that I would never do that kind of thing. I'm not about that. I'm too prestige to have sex. That's what it looks like because of the way you're behaving. Do you know what I'm saying? And even, you know, the expert had to address her on that. You know, do this, do that. You know, she had to even tell her to go and do, you know, some games that would help, obviously, increase their intimacy as well. No, Keith actually mentioned the fact that, you know, when he spoke to Pascal, he spoke quite positively about the relationship. I love the way that Keith actually speaks in general because I feel like he's always articulating correctly and I feel like he's a well-rounded speaker. He's obviously very intelligent and very, very bright by the way that he responds. I think he's very much aware of the situation with him and Iris and the fear that he has, a very rational fear that he has. He's mentioned the fact that obviously with Iris and the sexual intimacy, that, you know, sexual maturity is very, very much sexy to him. So he's not sure if he's sexually attracted to his wife. The reason why he said that is because, not because actually they haven't had sex, but she's not providing no sexual energy at all. She's not putting out any energy. And like I said, energy it's like flirting, it's the touching, it's the little comments that we make, it's the little something, do you know what I mean? You're offering me something. And I'm intrigued as to what you're offering. I know what you're offering, but you're kind of teasing, man. We want that energy. That's the energy we want. If he had that energy, listen, I believe they would have had sex by now. But he's now fearful because she's so rigid with it. And that's created a fear. It's created this conundrum in his head. But I told you in the last video how men are scared of virgins. When you're not a virgin, it's scary because you taking someone else's virginity, you know what it means. It's not just the fact that it's more meaningful. It is what happens to the girl after. It's what happens to the girl after. It's the way she reacts. It's the way that she looks at you from then onwards. You know what I'm saying? It's the way that they never stop loving you when you're the first.
Like, you know, being open to it. And of course, yeah, I want stuff like that to happen for us. I do want that, you know, in our relationship. Of course, it doesn't have to go as far as sex, but we can do other sexual things. I want to make sure that both you and I are both ready.
Sure.
And just finding out, like, what that space is of that middle ground on, you know, figuring out where our sexuality and our sexual stuff can lead with, you know, my virginity and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
For the past 4 weeks, the focus has...
Iris as well said, you know what? We can do some other sexual things that don't actually go past the virgin route, you know, or us actually having up to sex. And I was like, do you mean in a sense of like, we're just gonna slowly start and get there? Or do you mean like, let's do things in between that actually don't go to sex because I'm still trying to hold on to my virginity? I mean, that's what I'm trying to decipher. Is it because you're still trying to hold on to the virginity, or is it because you actually want to build that intimacy in that area. But you don't want to lose your virginity just in case. I don't know. And when obviously she mentioned that, he had a big ass grin on his face. Why? Because he wants sex. Let's be honest. He wants sex. That's what he's been waiting for. He's been wanting. And so therefore, this is the opportune time now. The guy's not really fit. I told you, it's not that he's scared of sex with this girl. It's the fact she's not putting out no sexual energy. I'm repeating it for the third time. That's what makes him scared. Because you're not sure how far you can go. But now she's mentioned we want to do some sexual things. Look at the grin that came in his face. Sexual energy. Boom. Alright guys, that's part 1. We're going to go up into part 2. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Alright guys, we're coming with Vim. Do you understand? We're coming with what? Vim. Alright, cool. Dropping part 2 with Amber, Matt, and Jamie Elizabeth.